Hello again, traders. Right, this is about the third or fourth attempt at this, and the whole point is just to update you as to where I am with the bot, 3crbot. One of the things that causes me the main problems is the longer I do this, which is only a few months really now, the more I learn and the more improvements I make. So what that does is it makes set files that I produced, say, 3-4 months ago when I started this, are pretty much useless and redundant. Although they were good at the time, it just keeps improving. And I'm sure anyone that gets involved with bots and stuff like that probably finds the same learning curve process, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, this is what you're looking at is a culmination of probably 400 or 500 hours work, maybe thousands. But in reality, just this weekend, it's now Monday, probably a good 15 hours work, easy. So I got up this morning. Yesterday, I spent the whole day, barring an hour or so for lunch, producing multiple 1-minute set files. So if I can explain, what most of these do over this period, this is June to August, sorry. And the reason it's June is purely because I started sort of really getting involved in this using a data set from 12 months ago, back in June this year, 2025. So it seems sensible just to use that same sort of data set, as it were, for the purpose of these runs, tests, whatever. You have to draw the line somewhere. I don't agree with the 5-year data. It's a double-edged sword, but if you follow me and watched a few of my videos, you know I was greatly influenced by Dave C on Forex Factory, who seems to be the real deal, and he says you should re-optimize every 2 or 3 months, and that's good enough for me. I've got plenty of 5-year sets as well on different instruments, but for this purpose of what I'm doing right now, this is good enough, 14 months. So what I've done today, in the last 3 or 4 hours, I start very early, is produced a totally new, different set of optimizations on a 5-minute chart, because the point being, when you use one, as it were, one set of filters, I use MAs, ADX, ATR, support and resistance levels, pivots. I've got so many in there, weekly and daily pivots, that the intention being that I can produce hundreds of set files that will trade at different times, different volatility periods, and so on and so forth, in order to produce the smoothest curve possible. So this is actually an inferior run, because prior to creating this run, my MT4 froze, and I'd been working so hard, I'd not saved the most recent one, because literally it was hot off the press. So if we look at the report for this, so basically the final run was around 2.02. It was 5k to 20k in 14 months, about 390 trades, and all the numbers were better, apart from the maximal drawdown that was pretty similar, 6.38, which is pretty phenomenal. I mean, you're looking at a 400% in growth on your capital on a 30-to-1 leverage account. This is a UK spread bet account, and I did that for a reason, for the UK guys here that follow me, purely because if this works to plan, this is the perfect passive income, because anyone that's involved in trading will know that spread betting is tax-free. It's classed as gambling in the UK, and as such, providing it is only your secondary income, in other words, if you've got a job and you run a few of these or do a bit of trading part-time, which I would imagine 95% of people do, then this is perfect, because you won't pay commissions to prop firms if they even bother to pay you, which is chancy. You won't have to pay the tax man. So in itself, this 17 grand, 18 grand nearly, is probably worth 36 grand to you if you pay tax in the UK and you attempted to use simulator, prop firms, whatever. So 30 to 1 leverage. Everything I've done is, to try and create the worst case scenario. So firstly, most importantly, this is not a martingale robot. It is a momentum robot using momentum indicators, focusing on the fast reversal, the 2B reversal. That is, if you're on you will be watching this on my YouTube channel, Best Forex Method, with a great big 2B reversal slap in the middle of my profile picture. And that is what this gets. Sometimes it gets perfect ones, sometimes it gets late entries. I still need to improve that. But, this is version 10, and I foresee, or whatever you want to call it, version 101 of potentially continual improvements. So let's look at these numbers again. 3 and a bit RRR, 100 average loss trade, 350 average profit trade. Huge increase in your actual profits. I mean, everything is right there. 400 trades in a year, which is where I want to be. I don't want to be waiting a whole week for one trade and then you find it's a losing trade, and so on and so forth. Don't want to be doing martingales where you have a wonderful curve and you're compounding your money and you've turned a grand into 4 and all that malarkey, and then boom, the whole lot explodes. That's bad. So this trades exactly as I would trade in a perfect world. In other words, entering trades at the optimum 2B reversal point. And but instead of just taking one trade and walking off to the beach, which I intend to do in a moment, I can monitor 100 different instruments, if you like, and 5 different time frames, and so on and so forth. That is the point of this exercise for me. Passive income, tax-free income in the UK, and steady curve. And let's now switch to FTMO, and you can see the curve is exactly the same on FTMO, and but I would put it on a $200,000 account, the maximum allocation. But I think you can double that, actually. I'm not sure. I'm sure you can, actually. You certainly can. So the report is similar, but based on £140,000 or $200,000. So add 40% to that for your dollars. So 63 grand profit is roughly, I calculated it and take one of this, about $90,000 in 14 months. Everything else is the same proportionally. This is the important bit. This is a 30 to 1 account on FTMO's setup, 30 to 1 leverage. The reason being then, according to their rules, and don't quote me on this again, the 30 to 1 is a swing trading account, and that is what this bot does. And it will allow you to hold over weekends, hold overnight, and hold over news and stuff like that. I think it's a pretty flexible account. So that was the whole point of everything I've done. So we're getting to the point now, but remember, this figure should be much more. It was about £70,000. It was nearer 400 trades in the 14 months, which, goodness, how many is that? That's got to be nearly one a day or something like that. That's the whole point of what I've been trying to do, to smooth out the curve. So every day, hopefully, at least every week anyway, your account is always growing. Don't talk to me about percentage. I've got no idea at the moment, because I've been constantly focusing on producing as many quality set files as I can, And the beauty about, I can digress for a month of Sundays here, but the beauty about what I've done is I've concentrated on getting a profitable equity curve or good, and then I concentrated on high RRRs. One even has a 10-to-1 RRR, but it looks, odd. And these are all things of the future, or it's more than 10-to-1 RRR. But you do with the bigger your targets, the more likely you are to have long runs of losers and then one massive 10-to-1 winner, as it were. And that seems obvious. But what I really wanted to avoid was scalping. So I've gone for the biggest and then just, RRR, reward risk ratio, whatever. And then I've trimmed it to get it to the point where, it's good enough to cover all the other things. Although the data suite I use, TDS, Tick Data Suite, allows you to build in slippage, allows you to build in, commission costs and whatever. Although the instruments I use are spread based, not commission, so they're already included in the figures. Slippage is a problem for scalping bots, but as I say, this is not a scalping bot. It's not a martingale bot. It is a swing trading bot. So, next step now for me is to get this running on various platforms sharing, but I'm actually way overdue for a break from this bot work, as it were, just going back to steady manual trading and enjoying the summer here. But who knows, I might get a new burst of energy in a day or two's time, or even tomorrow or this afternoon even, and get cracking with all the other improvements. But all I can say is that it just keeps continually getting better and better and better. The more I do, the more I learn, the better it gets. So thanks for watching. Hope this has had some value to you, especially if in the UK. It's perfect, a passive tax-free income that will just complement your existing full-time job, as it were. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Any questions, just put them in the comments, please. Sensible ones, of course.